Good morning, students. Welcome to today's lesson on methods of teaching biology. Now, in this lesson, we are going to learn about other teaching resources. So, the objectives of this lesson, after you have successfully gone through this lesson, you should be able to classify other teaching resources as human and non-human resources, and also explain the role other resources play in teaching biology. So basically, these are the objectives for this lesson. Now, in teaching resources, we have two types. We have the human resources and then the non-human resources. Okay, so we have the various classification of other teaching resources. We have the human and then the non-human resources. Now we are the human resources. Now the human resources, we are talking of people that are located in and out of the school who serve as a reference for learning. So people who are resourceful in the society can serve as a reference for learning. If you are teaching a particular topic and then you see it that it will be very necessary to consult such people, and then you do that in order to help students understand it. So human resources are people that are located in and out of the school who serve as a reference for learning. For example, a colleague teacher could be a resource who can teach an aspect of biology well. So what you have to do is you arrange to have time with him so that he will come to your class to help you teach or explain some issues. And also we can also say that in a community where we have the environmental health officer, you can invite the environmental health officer to explain issues related to the environmental situation in the classroom. Now, with the non-human resources, we are talking about textbooks and other materials. So we are saying that textbooks are commonly used resources by students and teachers. So we are saying that biology textbooks present the subject matter or content to students in order to augment what the teacher has taught in the class. So we are saying that the books support teachers as the authoritative source of information. So the textbooks can be effective resources for visual learners who would like to see and read materials for themselves. So in selecting biology textbooks for students, you, the teacher, you have to consider some factors. And that is what we will see in the next slide. So the factors to consider in selecting a textbooks for students, you should look at the content of the particular textbooks. So with the content, we are talking of in terms of readability, the clarity of expression, and simplified explanations of that particular book. And then you have to look at the structure of the book. Now with the structure, we are talking of the layout of the book. We are saying that the layout should help students build cognitive representations. So we can say that textbooks whose structure or textbook which is structured in such that they deal with principles that would help guide students to understand the content in the book. So in this case, first, the book has to be effective for long-term retention and also understanding than those that pose problems first before the text is built up to teach concepts and principles. So the book has to follow these things. The next one is illustration and diagrams. So with illustration and diagrams, we are saying that visually appealing and then attractive text can easily engage students' interest. That is the illustration and diagram. And then we also talk about the coverage. The coverage is talking about, say, the topics covered and the key objectives must align to the instructional objectives. That is the coverage aspect of the textbooks. And you look at the end of chapter exercise. Every textbook you should have an end of chapter exercise. So when the book has graded problems, that is from easy to complex, at the end of each chapter, it is more preferable in this way. It should be from easy to complex. That is the way the exercise has been organized, because they help students to apply concepts and principles that are taught from the book, and they also help reinforcement. That is the end of chapter exercise. And we also look at the accessibility of the material. So we are saying that the books must be available and affordable. You understand? The books must be easy to find and then cheap to be owned or purchased by all students. And then the gender sensitivity. The gender sensitivity, we want to look at the content, illustrations, and examples. So these things should be balanced between the sexes in terms of male and female. So we are trying to say that the books must provide a balanced perspective of both male and female. For example, the books must not use derogatory terms for either sexes. That is what I'm trying to say. So it shouldn't be like it will intentionally exclude either sex in the illustrations, pictures, and other examples. Okay, so we've learned a lot in this session. So we want to review what we've learned so far. So in reviewing what we've learned so far, I want you students to answer these questions. Classify other teaching resources into two main groups with exclamations. And then question number 2, I want you to look at, you discuss the role of other resources used for teaching biology. And that is going to help you in your understanding. And I believe when you find answers to these questions, it means you understood the lesson.